How well do we truly know our friends? And what are the signs to indicate that the friendship has turned toxic? Let's talk about it on this week's The Trouble.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
The trouble with being the third best friend. She was only 16, bright, sharp, full of sass and laughter. Skylar Neese was the kind of teenager who tweeted her thoughts in real time, spent hours watching shows like Pretty Little Liars, and had two best friends that she told everything. Her parents said she was independent, headstrong, and always spoke her mind. A typical teenage girl with a typical teenage life in Star City, West Virginia. But on July 6, 2012, Skylar Neese disappeared. Security footage from her apartment complex showed her sneaking out of her bedroom window just after midnight. A car pulled up, she climbed in, and this was the last time she was seen alive. For months, her family, her school, the entire town were in agony. Posters were taped to light poles, Facebook groups were launched, prayers were said at vigils. Her friends Rachel Schoaf and Sheila Eddy cried publicly, gave interviews, and helped pass out flyers. But something was off. And that's their pictures right there. Rachel with the red hair and Sheila a little taller there. Rachel and Sheila had been Skylar's best friends since middle school. They were inseparable. A trio always seen laughing in the hallways and taking selfies together. But in the months before Skylar vanished, things began to shift. Skylar started feeling left out. Her last tweets hinted at a betrayal, cryptic, angry outbursts like, "You doing shit like that is why I can never completely trust you." And people can be so mean for absolutely no reason. That was some of her tweets. She knew something was happening. She didn't know how dark it really was. As the investigation deepened, so did the cracks in the girls' stories. Eventually, nearly 6 months after Skylar disappeared, Rachel Schoaf broke. On January 3rd, 2013, Rachel walked into the police station with a secret so cold it didn't seem real. "We stabbed her." Rachel and Sheila had picked Skylar up that night just as they planned, and they drove her to a remote spot in the woods across the Pennsylvania state line, a place they had been before to hang out and smoke weed. They laughed, they talked, pretending everything was fine. Then, on the count of three, 1, 2, 3, they attacked her, each with a kitchen knife, stabbing her over and over again. Skylar managed to run, but they caught her. She fought hard, she begged, but they kept stabbing. When Skylar stopped moving, they stood over her and watched her breathe and bleed out. They buried her under branches and dirt. Then they bathed together in a nearby creek, got rid of the evidence, and went on about their lives. They had killed their best friend for no good reason. Later, when asked by investigators, Rachel's answer was chilling. "We didn't like her anymore." The truth broke something in the town. They weren't strangers or troubled kids from some distant place. They were honor students, cheerleaders, girls with futures and college plans. Sheila even tweeted, "Rest easy, Skylar. You'll always be my best friend," while knowing what she had done. The backlash was immediate. People were shocked, horrified. Parents looked at their own children differently. How could this happen? What went so wrong? Rachel Schoaf pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. She was sentenced to 30 years in prison with the possibility of parole in 10 years. Sheila Eddy pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and received life in prison, and eligible for parole in 15 years. They're both serving time now in separate facilities. But the story doesn't end there. It never does. Skylar's murder changed laws in West Virginia and inspired Skylar's Law, which requires immediate public notification when a child is reported missing, even if there's no evidence of abduction. And then there's another part, the obsession. Even now, this case draws intense attention online. People dig through the old tweets, they analyze the photos, they romanticize the crime, just like I am now, I suppose. This was a trio friendship that turned deadly, a trust so deeply betrayed that it shook a community, a country, to its core. Skylar never saw it coming. And that's what makes the story stay with you. Not just the violence, but it's that Skylar never saw it coming. The betrayal wore the face of a friend. It was a vicious story. Being that third friend in a relationship, in like a friendship relationship, and it goes wrong. Everybody has the experience of being that third friend, like the jealousy of the third friend. But it's amazing how these kids took it to that degree of killing their friend. Now, there's been some friends in my life where the breakup with the friend, I almost considered it divine in some way, like it was meant to be. Not to say that they were bad kids. It might have been divine on their part, them to go their way and me to go my way. But you have to be able to walk away from friendships sometimes. It's just one of them things, like to learn from this. And you got to have that intuition to feel it sometimes. Not saying anything was Skylar's fault at all, but just trying to get something out of this tragic situation. I want to put Skylar's picture up here and say, rest in peace to Skylar. Beautiful young lady. Look at her. Beautiful young lady who didn't get a chance to live her life fully. But that's the trouble with being the third friend.